Hey everybody, this is a bit of a strange episode of my large loss life, but here we go. Hey everybody, I wanted to talk to you today about the absolute weirdness we've had for like the last 25, 26 days of this self-isolation. It has been a weird time and a stressful time. So I was thinking today as the day just ground on about all these people that were calling me. And I mean like all day long. People called that were our clients just to kind of like banter with me a bit and say, hey, I'm going to be sending some work. Hey, I'm going to be sending some work. Hey, my claims work has been waiting, but I'm going to be sending some work. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And I started asking them, but what about your isolation? And they say, well, I got my respirator, I got my regulator, in fact, but better than that. And I've got, my gloves and, I'm having the insured stay way away from me and opposing, adjusters or whatever. And, I'm just being real careful. I'm trying not to go into a bunch of, places like, not trying to go into gas stations and, I'm already trying to stay out of like Walmarts and things like that. So I'm just going to do it, which is, and that marries us to some degree what I've been doing, which I've been out on appraisal work personally, where we've done, worn the regulators, worn the gloves, and kept a comfortable distance and no harm, no foul. It's been good because we could move the chains even during this weird time of near isolation. But the thing I noticed was that I got literally from 6:30 this morning till about 4 in the afternoon, I got calls pretty regularly all day long from people who were saying essentially the same thing. They're coming back. And so as the day wore on, I kept asking questions. And the questions were interesting because it sounds like an unpopular notion, but it was interesting just to see from our industry's perspective what they were kind of feeling. And I often say that we get to see things from a perspective that most people don't, because in what I do, we serve pretty much everybody in the industry. But it was just weird that there was so much just sinking between all these various people from all these different parts of the claim track. And so what we were wondering was, how do we do that? What I'm just asking them is, how do you do that and still do the isolation stuff? And I guess I could feel just the very honest amount of stress that was on these folks' minds. I mean, I could just feel it. It's palatable. And so, I didn't want to poke at them too much. I didn't want to do this self-righteous thing. Well, you're doing this to save the community and all that. I don't want to do that. But if I don't do that, then people call me bad names and say that I'm like certain leaders of ours that think the stock market's more important than the health of the citizenry. But it was just an interesting quandary. And what it kind of came to was, in every case they said, well, there's no government money. None of it's arrived. It's not coming. It won't be here anytime soon. I'm going to go broke if I don't go do this. I've got to go to work. I'm going to be safe when I'm doing it. I don't know how any small business can survive without doing this way. And that is a lot of stress. So I wondered what you thought about the fact that all these people in the claims tribe are looking like they're getting back to it. Even though we're in all these various lockdowns and stay-at-home orders and all of this. I mean, technically speaking, in most of the places, because we are allied with construction, we're covered if we want to not be stuck at home. But it is a real question for me. If there was no money, and all there is more of the same, is it not the obligation of most of the small businesses that are in this industry to get back to it on some level and try to do it as safe as possible? I don't know, man. But I can just feel that stress. It used to be static, used to be fear, but now it's just raw stress. And for my part, I mean, these guys are kind of doing what I've been doing. Some of the remediation guys have never quit because they've had to be out there doing what they do for the virus. But it's an interesting quandary. It's interesting to think through whether that's the right thing or the wrong thing, given the fact that there is this imperative to support your family during this, and at the same time there's this imperative to support the world around you. I don't know that there's a right answer here, but I thought it was worth just kind of putting out there. And my God, I hope some of this stress just drops off the industry and does it quickly. Because when something stresses the claims tribe this bad, that means on the rest of the people that don't normally handle the level of stress we handle, it's getting rough. On a good note, I picked up a nice $10 million large loss assessment in a far-off corner of the world today. A bunch of new appraisal work and just a bunch of other people just throwing stuff the way to our core company to get some estimates rolling. And it's just been interesting to see. You know, you really are the glue. You really are the glue that keeps the whole claims continuum running. And in so much as you are the glue, it puts great responsibility on everybody in the claim tribe. But it is okay to be human. It is okay to be honest about your stress, and it is okay to be honest about what you have to do to get to the next day to continue to support and protect the insured. We're lucky that we get to do a good thing in our industry and make money at the same time. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You guys amaze me with everything you do, from swinging a hammer to standing up in court, to going to see 8 or 10 jobs a day, or 8 or 10 claims a day because there's just such a high volume after a loss and you just have to do it. For answering Miss Smith's call at all hours of the night. You guys rock. If you need me for anything, you know where I am. Hit me up here, on LinkedIn or somewhere. It's good to have you here with me. And thanks for this little aside. Let's go do some claim work. Peace.